Good afternoon, everyone, and to all of our participants on Zoom and watching us on Facebook Live. Magandang hapon. I'm TJ Parpan. Ako po ang Managing Director ng Thames International Business School. Thank you for joining us for our second webinar for this series. We're all clear, ito po yung panel discussion on how to do marketing for e-commerce together with our guests from Google, Zalora, and also from DTI Sitem. Before we begin, I just wanted to share that this is part of DTI's initiative para tulungan tayo sa pag-accelerate ng efforts ng gobyerno to encourage lahat ng mga MSMEs sa e-commerce. The program we are in is called the Control Plus Biz Reboot Now, and it includes a range of support services sa package po ng Reboot. Such as e-commerce platforms and enablers, loans, discounts from delivery platforms, and free training webinars. The Reboot packages will be discussed by ASEC Jean Pacheco at the end of this webinar. She will be giving us more information. So please stay till the end to listen to the details of the Reboot packages from DTI. But before we begin, to give us some welcome remarks on behalf of DTI, may I please introduce Ms. Pauline Suaco-Wan, the Executive Director of DTI's Center for International Trade Expositions and Missions, or CITEM. So Pauline, if we can have your welcome remarks.
Oops. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat. Hello, TJ. And thank you, ASEC Jean, for inviting me to give the welcome remarks. Ako po ay galing sa CITEM, which is the Center for International Trade Expositions and Missions, ang export promotions arm ng Department of Trade and Industry. I would like to welcome everybody to Control Plus Biz Reboot Now, which is a series of webinars that we have swiftly organized together with our partners from the e-commerce sector. Our learning partner, Thames International, led by its president, Noel Santos, and of course we have our TJ Parpan, the Philippine Trade Training Center, and our agency partner, Wonderman Thompson, which developed our visuals. We at the DTI understand the dilemma of small businesses brought about by COVID-19. And together with the rest of the government are doing what we can to assist our micro, small, and medium enterprises. Digital is a cornerstone of our new normal. And as we gear up towards becoming a low-touch economy, we need our MSMEs to take on the challenge of taking their respective businesses online. So to ease the transition, we are offering a reboot package to our MSMEs that consists of, number one, onboarding. We have talked to digital marketplaces such as Lazada, Shopee, and Zalora to waive onboarding fees for those who want to sell through the aforementioned platforms. So, libre po ang onboarding fees sa Lazada, Shopee, and Zalora sa ngayon. Loans. Through our SB Corporation is offering soft loans. We ask everybody to to reach out to them and check out their site for which type of loans are available for your company. Also available are discounts. Delivery platforms such as Grab, Lalamove, and QuadX are offering discounts in their services. And learning. So we are offering training via webinars such as this for the next 4 days and hopefully beyond that. This collective effort tells us something. The bayanihan spirit of the Filipino is very much alive. It is heartwarming to note that at this time of crisis, the government and the private sector, our e-commerce platforms, our enablers, service partners, mentors, we are all able to band together and share time, talent, and resources to help our MSMEs jumpstart their digital operations and expand their business. To our MSMEs, please take this afternoon and the rest of the week's webinars, take the opportunity to listen, to learn, to take control of your businesses, and to reboot now. We at the DTI, I would just like to note also that we at the DTI are not endorsing any particular platform. Our partners here are here to help us, but we hope to expand this bayanihan effort to involve more platforms as we go along with the program. So again, hinihikayat namin ang ating MSMEs na nanonood ngayon to check out the Reboot program after this, to sign on for as much or as many webinars that you can, so that we can continue and to make the most of the learnings available to us now that we are still at the ECQ. Mabuhay po tayong lahat, and salamat.
Thank you very much, Pauline, for the opening remarks. And with that, papasok na po tayo sa panel discussion natin para sa ngayong hapon na to. Again, the topic is how to do marketing for e-commerce. So I'll just do a quick introduction of myself and then also call in our panelists. So ako po si TJ Parpan, Managing Director of Thames International Business School. Before being part of the school, I was actually in the integrated marketing communications industry for 25 years. And 20 years po noon ay nasa digital marketing. And I have also served on the board of the Internet and Mobile Marketing Association of the Philippines. So marketing and digital marketing is also very close to my heart. With that, I would like to ask our panelists present to switch on their videos and unmute their audio as I introduce you, and then just do a quick wave of your hands as I call your names. So just waiting for our panelists. Please switch on your videos and audio. So yes, first let me introduce Mr. Tejas Kirodiwal of Zalora, calling in from KL, Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. Hello, Tejas. And then again, we have Pauline Swakuwan of DTI Sitem, who you met earlier. And then we have also Jim Gao of Google. Also joining him is attorney Yves Gonzalez, also of Google. And then joining us later at the end will be ASEC Jean Pacheco of DTI to give her the details about the reboot package. So jumping straight to it. So yes, Jim Gao is the performance specialist of Google, where Tejas Kirodiwal is the head of growth marketing of Zalora. Yves Gonzalez is Google's head of government affairs. So we're just clear about how they'll be sharing their expertise. But going straight into it, when we talk about marketing, and also in terms of general marketing principles in digital marketing, it's important, I guess, na lahat ng mga brands are very clear kung ano ang distinct or unique offering ng brands, because that goes clearly sa messaging ninyo. What is your product or your service, and how is it clearly communicated? Because once you have that clear communication, nagiging klaro din po kung sino yung target audience ninyo. Understanding the target audience is a very clear step that precedes understanding what happens next in terms of their, as we call it, customer journey. Where are they in terms of receiving your messages or in terms of their buying or decision-making process? So understanding the target and the customer journey. But very specific, I guess, to MSMEs. Pagklaro na po kung sino yung target, kung nasaan sila, how do you get them on board? How do you grow your customer base? And then how do you make sure that they are connecting and converting to your businesses? And that is where our panelists will also share their expertise and experiences across that in terms of being clear about po yung target audience, the customer journey of the target audience, how can we grow that target audience, and how can we increase the performance of that target audience that we have grown to be able to build your businesses. And all of this po in the context ngayon, hindi lang sa digital marketing, but in light of being in the COVID crisis. na lahat tayo nayanig, nataranta because of all of these things. We were going to digital marketing. It takes a very different flavor as well dahil sa COVID. So we will touch on those aspects as well. But maybe to start, I can, if you don't mind, Pauline, maybe coming from the DTI Sitem's point of view, what have you heard or what have you seen are the challenges that the brands and exporters are facing in terms of marketing or maybe digital marketing in their business context or in the light of COVID?
Okay, let's start one at a time. I have one paramount thing in terms of my exporters who are bent on promoting their brands abroad. How does one market your brand on a digital platform? Does it not lose out to products rather than the brand itself? Because you're not really able to, on the platforms, there's very little space to talk about extensively about the brand in the manner that you would do, let's say, if you had your own website or in a storefront where you could dress something up. The interface of the platforms is basically limited to their design, so it does not encompass, and some of them might not be very brand go with their brand. So how do we address something like this?
Thank you for the question, Pauline. So would Jim or Tejas want to answer the question?
So maybe I can start, right? Parang I think what I would always advise, parang especially in these times, right? Parang a lot of people are nagtatanong, they're really asking that what's changed, right? Parang how has the situation changed? Sort of the status of my brand or the products that I sell, ganyan. And the answer that I always give is, I think you have to always start with sort of what is the consumer intent and how has it changed now, right? So there's a tool that we always use, we've been using a lot lately. It's a tool that you guys can check. It's tawag sa kanya Google Trends. So trends.google.com. Suggest ko for you guys to i-check niyo yun. What it is it's a tool na pwede niyong gamitin para makita kung anong nagbago from ano yung mga sinesearch ng mga tao from your products and your brand. Na given the last few weeks, nag-increase ba o bumaba ba? It's a good starting point. It's a good starting point for you to see na parang anong nagbago in terms of where your category, the category that your products or services play in, and how people are searching for your brand specifically. So you know how to go forward, right? Parang during these times ba nag-increase yung demand for your products, and at least then you can start to formulate a strategy for it. Or is it ba ngayon ba during these times people are not searching for it and you need to maybe create some demand for it? So because I think before COVID, medyo meron tayong most of you guys tuning in, meron na kayong idea in terms of the type of demand or parang feedback from your types of products the consumer has. But parang now it's almost like it's rejigged, right? Everything's sort of like everything's been jumbled, right? So I think getting that sense of footing in terms of where you guys are at in terms of how consumers are treating your strategy, your category is a good way to first have that assessment in terms of strategy for you to be able to know, okay, how can I be competitive now? How do I keep now that if you're moving to digital from a brick and mortar, now how do I address that strategy? Or if you're or always been in digital, how now do I maximize my gains or my returns based on that strategy? So for me, getting that starting point first and where are you at, I think super important now, lalo na with all the uncertainty that's happened within different industries.
Okay.
I think I couldn't agree more. Yeah, I couldn't agree more with Jim. I think it has to start with research first. So let's say if you are a new player and in terms of digital or online, then I think it has to start with research. what is important is to understand, let's say if you have a particular category or a particular product within your category or your bestseller, then we need to focus on that when we go online, because usually when we go online, and we know that online doesn't take a lot of space because it's not your physical store. Usually online is cheaper in terms of, your websites, hostings and whatnot. So we often get overwhelmed, right? So I think we need to understand what is scalable and what is not scalable. Yes, it is correct that this is the right time to go digital. This is the right time. People have no choice and to only serve digital, but doesn't mean that you show everything, or doesn't mean that you try to scale up everything, right? So there's one very famous saying that I always follow, and also encourage my team to follow, is that do not leave the certain for the uncertain. So let's say if you know that something is certainly going to give you returns, something is definitely going to fly because that's your best product, then I think that is where you have to put your biggest bet on. So I think yes, I agree with Jim. It has to start with research. A lot of marketers, although I think people in marketing, especially digital marketing, are very well versed with digital tools, research tools, keyword volumes, and keyword trend tools. But I think not many small entrepreneurs or many traditional marketers are sort of well versed with this. And I think this is the right time to sort of understand. And these are very simple tools. So yeah, get started with this. Pick your battles, and then decide what should we be doing, how my competitors are doing, and then comes the part where you really define. Because in marketing, we always say, no matter whether offline or digital, marketing always by large has two divisions. One is push marketing, one is pull marketing. Push marketing is where people don't have the intent of buying your product, right? And you want to showcase them. And pull marketing is where people's intent is there. You just go and show yourself and attract the customer. So I think, as Jim was saying, if you want to generate the demand, first you need to pick the push marketing channels like Facebook, Instagram, or whatever push marketing channels you or your team is comfortable with, and go and make your presence available, right? Go in front of your customer and make them aware that, hey, we were offline, but now we are online. Or if you're already online, then make them aware that, hey, we are online even now, or with this newer rules, which I guess have just been announced yesterday, I guess, in Philippines. So yeah, I think just make your people aware, and then once they are aware, once the warm up has been done with the audience, then use the pull marketing to pull them for the lower funnel, or basically returns on ad spend kind of KPIs.
Okay, salamat. Thank you, Jim and Tejas. So what I've been hearing common is na research is important, like a starting point to see where your brand is to allow you to move forward. I wanted to connect, may isang question po sa Q&A box where they were asking to what degree of your customer profile or any data analytics from your platforms is shareable to MSMEs or businesses. And I guess I'm assuming it's different context po. Kasi Google being a platform, as you mentioned, Jim, there's trends.google.com where you can see something on a very general approach. But if I'm a brand and I'm using the full dashboard of Universal and Google Analytics, kunyari, or with Tejas in terms of Zalora, if I'm a seller, what kind of data, analytics, or information is available in a more detailed manner if I'm on your platform?
I think that's very critical because need to understand the digital is valuable, or the plus side of digital is that everything is measurable. And if we don't leverage on what is being measured, or we don't take any actions on what is being measured, then there's no point of going digital, right? So I think there are there are definitely key reports that you should ask from your marketers, your agencies, or if you yourself go into Google Analytics. So for example, you can check which particular channel drives the better ROI, which particular channel, let's say it could be referral, it could be SEO, it could be Google ads or Facebook ads or whatever, right? Which one gives you the highest ROAS? Which inventories or which products basically from your catalog or category are doing the best, which are in demand? Because doing the research and understanding trend is one thing, but then looking into your own data is another thing, right? Because that can give you a lot of insights into what you should be prepared for. Let's say if something is going really, really high, really flying very well, then you can be well prepared in terms of managing your inventories, managing your logistics and stuff like that. So I think yes, if someone asks me what are the 2 or 3 key important reports or the areas I would look into Google Analytics or whatever measurement tool I have, I would go and pick the channel insights report to understand which channel gives me the best ROS during this period, and look into my inventory levels, so which products are flying good, so that I can manage my warehouses and logistics and whatever, and can be prepared on what to push more. Let's say if something is going well, but your profit margins are better with something which is not going well, so you can adjust your marketing gigs right around it. So I think these are the obvious ones I would look for.
Thank you, Tejas. Jim, anything else to add on that?
So from the non platform side. So I think TJ mentioned kanina na trends at google.com. I think it's a good starting place. So the data that you get is anonymized data in terms of what people have been searching for. So that's why it's a good maganda siyang starting point. So we already talked about that, right? So when you look at parang trying to understand consumer behavior. Then the other one, TJ also alluded to it also, is analytics, right? And I think Tejas also mentioned it as well. So you have Google Analytics, YouTube Analytics, depending on the platform na ginagamit nyo. But for me, I couldn't more highly recommend those types of like platforms, because you get information, right? And information enables you to make decisions, right? Parang you have more ammunition, right? When you look at Google Analytics, you get an understanding. For example, if you for your website, if you have websites, understanding what people are searching for, I think that's so powerful, because parang you understand what is the consumer expectation when they go to your website. What are they looking for? Maybe you have the content, maybe you have the product to address it, but even if you don't, magandang information siya to find out how should I plan going forward. Ito yung expectation ng customer ko eh. So parang how should I parang plan towards that? So that's one, parang understanding what people have been searching for. Second one is also understanding how people are engaging your products, right? Nagbago ba? If you are selling different things, different types of products, has it changed over the last few weeks or the last couple of months in terms of the products that they are searching for? How has the purchase behavior changed? For example, if dati you get a purchase after, let's say they go to your website and then they purchase after 7 days, something like that, right? Nagbago ba? Is it longer? Is it shorter? Those are the type of things that you understand, that you will be able to get. So you know, okay, when I do my marketing campaigns, when I promote, I need to now set these types of time period for them to go through that funnel and then purchase, because the customer behavior has changed. So not having that same assumption, and that's why these types of data can really equip you, and I think it enables you to make better decisions in terms of how now do you move your business, especially for example, if you're moving from brick and mortar to online, the consumer base might be super flip, might be very different. So having that information just gives you that ammunition and equips you in terms of how you guys can push forward.
Thank you, Jim. So just to round out some of the thoughts here, information is important. It helps po with research. Research po at the beginning of understanding yung target customer, or research could be existing with as your current selling is happening, to see if there are any changes in behavior, but being able to use that available data to inform you in your decisions. So I think what's common, may be the non-platform or platform-based, is almost everyone will have their own distinct kind of information or data available to you as a seller or as part of that platform to help inform you. So I think that's something that's common. And it just varying, nag-iiba lang po yung type of information. But I think to answer the question of the MSMEs, yes, if you're part of a particular platform, information will be there for you to use. Okay. Connecting, maybe moving on to the next part, because Pauline started with the challenge of people in the market, and we're looking at on the platforms and non-platform, that information it can also be available to help understand where your customers are. That's a key aspect when we talk about marketing. Where are your customers? Nasa yung customer journey. Nasaan sila? If they are in a buying mode, a searching mode, if they've been quiet, that's a journey. During that journey, what channels po are effective? From traditional channels to purely online, or a combination of each. So maybe our panelists can share their thoughts in terms of the customer journey. What are best practices in terms of trying to find out where our customers truly are?
Maybe I'll go first here, Jim. So I think that's definitely very, very important, as Jim also mentioned in the beginning, that it starts with understanding the customer and stuff. But I think we need to understand that customer behavior and journey will differ by the kind of product you are selling or the kind of product they are seeking for. So for instance, if it's fashion, then a role of those channels which are very much visual with their ad formats or visual with their content plays a very important role, right? Because it's more of an influencing game. If it's something of more of a DIY kind of thing, then people know that what they really want to buy, right? So I think it's very important to understand consumer journey, but before that, also need to understand what is the nature of a channel. So for instance, as a part of our digital media mix, we also have affiliate as a channel, right? Where we go and maybe to name a few, I can say Shopback is one of the biggest deal websites, which we use as an affiliate partner, right? So I think when people go to Shopback or such websites, they are definitely certain about what they want to buy. They have gone there to find the best deal out there, right? So we need to understand what is the nature of the channel. Whereas Google search has a different nature. People also know what they want to buy, so they are typing specific keyword. For example, buy shoes online, or it could be that they are in the discovery phase, right? They are maybe searching for the best shoes. Maybe after lockdown they have a party or they have a whatever things they want to do, right? Then they have Facebook or Instagram where they are just trying to kill the time during COVID-19, sitting at home. So that is the channel where you can go and influence. So you need to basically understand what your product is, how it is being perceived, how the decision is being made on your particular product or a category, and then match it with the nature of the channel, because each channel has its nature. Then of course we can go and understand which channel is better performing and scale it up or scale it down and whatnot, right? I think this is the basics that we need to do.
Thank you, Teja. So what I'm hearing is, again, being clear about the product, binabagayan din po yung produkto sa paggamit ng produkto sa target audience, and binabagayan din of the frequency of how we communicate. So what we're hearing, it's not uniform across different types of products, but I think that's also yung kagandahan ng digital, because it can help you to have the proper frequency or intensity of how to communicate with this target audience. Jim, anything to share in terms of customer journey, in terms of the Google point of view?
Sure. So, idugtong natin, right? So in the beginning, I mentioned na tignan niyo yung Google Trends in terms of nag-search ba yung mga tao regarding your product. So let's magbigay tayo example. So say skincare, for example. You're working with skincare, you have soap or any type of skincare. So in the beginning, you search on Google Trends and you find out na okay, during this last time these umaakit yung skincare searches. So okay, there is a role to play for my product, right? And then sa baba ng Google Trends, makikita mo rin anong related topics or related searches that are happening around skincare. So for example, let's say you find out na hand washing, right? That's something na parang people are gonna search for more. Maraming nag-search ngayon, nag-alam paano ba gawin siya, ganyan, ano bang gaano katagal, ganyan. So then once you have that sort of like input, then you can start to figure out, okay, so I think now my product or my brand has a role to play in terms of this space, in terms of, okay, na hand washing, I think pwede ako maging helpful. I can really try to also use that as a way to get to know my customers, for my customers to get to know me, ganyan. So then you look at channels that can help you, right? So for example, maybe some people would like to look at this visually, na parang how do I want to be showing to my customers how to be able to do proper hand washing visually. So then maybe you could go to a platform like YouTube, right? Use YouTube as a way now to how to do hand washing, show them how the proper way to do it, how long does it take, some tips that you can do it. You can also do it through your website if you feel na parang some people gusto nila nagbabasa ng mga articles, and that's how they will do it. So now that's how you can like look at your mix of media, right? And when you work with like a platform like Zalora, for example. That's how you can also like tie it in now. How now, based on what people have been searching for, now do I tie it in based on the partners that the platforms and the partners that I will work with, and now you can sort of like start to have the beginnings of a strategy in terms of how you will now communicate your message.
Thank you, Jim. So I think maybe I'll connect this, and Pauline, I'll be asking you a question related to this. So knowing, we're kind of touching on yung mindset ng tao. Parang ngayon na pag nag-iisip siya, ano kaya in COVID, how to wash hands? Or recently nasira yung lightning cable ko. And we only have one lightning cable across 4 of us dito sa bahay. So where can I buy a cable? So it's very driven by actual things happening in the light of a COVID. So understanding things they're going through, what kind of information they may be looking for. And then now, if it's addressing, I need to purchase a product or service based on that, can drive actual, an actual a purchase. But related to that is, if you're touching on certain a target audience, of course, if they were a larger audience base, hopefully mas maraming transactions, diba? So maybe let's talk about also how do you grow your target audience. So there's research, there's having useful content, but maybe Pauline, from your, sorry, but Pauline, I think you're on mute. Yes.
Oh, sorry. Can I interrupt muna before we go on another
Pauline.
topic?
Yes.
Because they were Jim and Tias were talking about going on Google and trying to decide if you're visual, you go on something like Instagram, for example. My question, actually, and a lot of the exporters and a lot of the exhibitors that we have, is how are you searchable? How do you become searchable online? So if you were, as Jim was saying, if you were selling soap and I'm selling soap, and how I come up on Google search when somebody is looking for soap, paano ko mag-appear doon? I think we're always faced with the fact na ang kalaban mo yung algorithm. So, kaya ba ng isang MSME, hindi ka malaking kumpanya, wala kang CRM, kaya mo bang mag-appear on the search engine or pag hinahanap, ano yung tips na may mabibigay nila para ma-maximize nga yung to be yung search engine optimization?
Yeah.
That's a great question, Pauline. Thank you for that. And I'm sure that from this one, we can connect that because how we can connect that also to growth. How do you grow the customer base because of having relevant searchable content? So maybe Jim, you'd like to answer that, and we can go to Tejas also if you have something to share. Jim?
Okay, so couple things to think about here. So first so I'll answer this 2 ways, right? There's two, when you pag search kayo, like lumalabas yung search results, right? There's 2 areas here. One is the paid ads in the top, then the regular searches in the middle and the bottom, right? So yung regular searches, dahan-dahan siyang umaakit. How you do it is you need to make sure na, so you have a website and you're updating the content, those type of things. So medyo slow, dahan-dahan siyang aakit. So it's not going to be fast, but it's something that you can work on by providing relevant content, right? And continuing update that. The one that, but if you're in terms of like getting, customer acquisition now especially during these times, if that's the goal, then leveraging the paid ads in the top. That's called SEM, right? Search engine marketing. The paid ads in the top. So the advantages of that is that it's immediate, na mabilis siya. Na parang if kunwari nag-decide ka na okay, ito na yung territories na ito yung mga searches na gusto ko, lalabas ako. You look at Google Trends, you come up with those searches that you want to play in. Pag you decide on that and you go to the platform and you buy those search keywords, mabilis siya. Meaning you can really show up right away. But how do you make sure na you're there, na you're showing up, all those type of things? So how we do it is as long as you're providing sort of a relevant answer to what a user is searching for, you're more likely to show up in the top spot or be in one of the top spots basically. So for example, let's go back to skincare. If somebody's may ang sinesearch ng mga tao, for example, how to do hand washing, right? Yun yung pinag-usapan kanina. So how to do hand washing. If yun yung sinesearch ng mga tao, how to do hand washing, your ad or your ad says how to do, you answer their question, nakalagay how to do hand washing. The system will say, you're relevant. You're answering the question the user is searching for. And then if you click on it, it takes you to a website or any sort of like landing page that answers the question how to do hand washing. The system will crawl it, the algorithm will look at it and say na nagma-match siya. So pag nagma-match siya, it rewards you by showing up in the top spot. So when it comes to SEM, that's how you show up, right? So and that's how it can really feed into acquiring customers, because if the user, I mean, put yourself in, put everyone in the eyes of in the shoes of the user, right? Na parang if nagsa-search ka hindi and for something tapos hindi yun related yung lumalabas, hindi maganda experience, right? You don't want that experience. The best experience, if I search for let's say postpaid account or postpaid broadband plan or something like that, tapos yun yung lumalabas, perfect, ito yung hinahanap ko, right? That's what I'm looking for. So same thing, if you're in skincare, if I search for like best soap for acne, yun yung lumalabas, your ad is your material showing up and addressing that makes for a good experience. So the algorithm is rewarding that. So that's how you show up on the top and gives you a better chance of acquiring that user, because the user feels na parang, okay, you're addressing what I'm looking for. So now I want to get to know your brand and I want to get to know the products that you're looking for. So again, on the paid ads, being sure you're relevant. On the organic side, it's providing helpful, relevant content. So Google My Business, for example, can help you provide that information when it comes to organic content, like for example, updating your store hours, those type of things. Those are the way delivery capabilities. Ganyan. Those are the ways to really make sure na parang you have a better chance of having good placement in the top when it comes to page, but in the middle and the bottom when it comes to also organic or the regular search results.
Okay, thank you, Jim. Tejas, anything to share?
Yeah, I think Jim covered it pretty well. I can only summarize it. So basically, to answer exactly how can you do it, so basically you have to go to Google and type Google Ads, or simply go to ads.google.com. You can sign up there. It's very easy now compared to what it used to be a few years back for a layman. So it's very easy to go to ads.google.com, sign up, put your brands up there, and based on your research, whatever you have picked up, or based on your inventory, whatever you have available, you can list what you want to sell. And basically, it's a process of bidding on a keyword on the paid side, right? So you bid for which keywords you want to show your ad, and your ad, and if your bids and your quality score, and if your website is relevant enough, then I think it will then it shows up in the top spots. For the organic side, I think as James said, it's a long journey. It's not something that will result overnight. The best practices would be to have a very neat and a clean website, very easy to navigate website, so that also the Google robots understand that, and algorithmically they get the relevant scoring. At the same time, have relevant content updates on the website, so that when someone searches for, because it's a game of, let's say if someone searches for buy shoes online, so first you want to tell Google's internal algorithms or internal engine that, hey, we are also eligible for buy shoes online kind of keyword, because on my website I have shoes and I also sell it online. So I have buy shoes. So there are various things into SEO. There is on-site SEO, off-site SEO. So more you research, more you'll understand. It's very easy. So yeah, we need to do that. Put right content, easy website, do basic SEO right. And I think it will start ranking up depending on how much competition you have in your niche, in your category. More competition, more effort needs to put in, and better the website has to be, better the content has to be. Lesser the competition, faster the results will be. So yeah, for long run SEO, for short run immediate returns on investment, SEM or paid ads on Google. Yeah.
Okay, so again, two approaches for long-term campaigns and for short-term campaigns. Just to address some questions coming from the audience, but maybe we won't be able to answer all of them because there are questions on keywords, optimal budgets for SEM or SEO. I think that's also a very, it's depend kind of answer, because there are a lot of other considerations, but that might be connected to another question. May nagtatanong po is, are there educational or e-commerce or digital marketing information out there that MSMEs can learn quickly and for free? My understanding is yes. Sorry. Yes, there are. I think what will be helpful also with the reboot packages is finding also all of those free resources, but at the same time, with the reboot packages, there'll be other webinars that will talk about more about it in detail. But I think the question was, e-commerce marketing basics. I think that's a very good question, and coming up with those resources might be helpful. So maybe some of our platform partners might have links or resources to that. Any thoughts on those in terms of available basics for email marketing? Would you already have that onboarding content available with your platforms?
Maybe I'll go first here. So I think this is the right time, not just because COVID-19 situation and stuff, but also because a lot of us are sitting home and we are lucky to be safe, right? So I think this is the right time to sharpen the marketing skills. And for the same purpose, I think very recently I had posted on social media a list of all the free resources, including majority of them are from Google. And besides Google, Facebook, there are others as well. So majority of them are free. So I'm going to post a link here. And I hope attendees also receive it. That's fine, right, TJ? I can post a link to the social post, which has largely free resources.
Yes. If you have anything we can share right now, that would be helpful to our participants.
Sure. So I just shared it in the chat. I'm not sure if it goes in the Facebook Live as well. So I think this is very important. This is mainly for digital marketing, and that covers largely e-commerce as well. You need to pick and choose the topics. But I think this can be a very good starting point to understand what is the ABC of selling stuff online, getting into e-commerce game, or if you're already into e-commerce game, then how to go to shift gears basically. So yeah, please feel free to explore these free resources. Largely it's free. The last one is paid, but I think largely it's free. Yeah.
Okay, just to connect, I think the mindset also is very important also. So if you have a question, I think the great thing also being online is you just search for it. Right now, it's become a verb, i-Google mo na lang. But actually, any question you may have for marketing, if you enter that in your search, and you're searching for e-commerce marketing, content marketing, performance marketing, there's actually no shortage of content out there. I think yung challenge lang is finding what the good content is. So aside from the links na shinare ni Tejas, and also Eves has shared something in the chat, search is your friend. Google, search is your friend. And we have the time, go into routine also during the day while we're in lockdown, to focus on learning. And you being on this webinar is part of it. But there are other topics that need to go in depth, but there's actually no shortage of great learning topics that can help you along. But what I guess moving forward is how do we help, curate all of these for the community that would be helpful. And so I think something we can work together with DTI in terms of the curation of these free resources would be helpful.